Hello, Miss Nesma.
Hi, how are you, Monsef?
I'm fine.
Hello, Miss Nesma.
Hi, Khadija. How are you? I miss you, all of you guys.
Me too.
Are you doing good?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, guys. So today we're going to talk about our project. Okay. We will be there's no session. Yeah, and we're going to talk mainly about our project. And you're supposed to be knowing more about the project. Yes, Monsef?
Miss Nesma, I have two questions.
Yes.
The first one, you typed beside of the topic, very important.
Yes.
Is it for the project? So
Yes,
it's very
yes, for the project.
The second question, is the project going to take the place of the exams?
No, you're going to take the exam and the project, both.
Why? Why for Ramadan? Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, let's do this together, okay? So your project will be related to what we have learned in this trimester. It's actually about the upthrust force that we talked about in the force lesson. Do you remember it? Who can tell me what is the upthrust force? Yes, Khadija.
The upper force, it's something like floating over the water. It does not sink.
Floating over the water that will not sink. Okay. Malak, would you please turn off your video, please? Thank you, dear. Okay, thank you, Khadija. Anyone else has an answer?
Someone's drawing on your screen.
Yeah, I know. I just stopped the annotations and I'm wiping it. Yes, Monsef, can you tell me what is the upthrust force?
The force that makes like ships don't sink. Like it's the force in water that makes ships float on the water.
The force on the water that makes ships float on the water. Okay, this is and let's say 80% right. Okay, anyone else has another answer? Come on, guys. Adham, Yahya, can you tell me another answer?
Miss, I did not hear anything. So can you say it from the beginning?
Yes, I have a question, dear. I'm asking you a question. What is the upthrust force that we have learned about in the first lesson, in the force lesson?
The upthrust force is the force of water pushing against the thing that is put on it.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. So it is related to the water. It's not related to the thing that is floating on the water. Okay, the upthrust force, guys, is the force that the water exerts in order to push the thing that is above it in the opposite direction of the gravity. Adham, Tamer, would you please turn off your video, please?
Okay.
Thank you, dear. Okay, so this means that
Can I go get something?
This means who is talking?
I'm Monsef. Can I go get something very quick?
Yeah, go, but very quickly, okay? Okay, so when we put, for example, a paper boat on the water, it floats because the water push it back against gravity. The gravity is pulling it towards the ground, while the water is pushing it back. Okay, do you all understand the concept of upthrust force, guys?
Yes.
Okay, another name for the upthrust force is buoyancy. This is another name for it, buoyancy. Okay, so our project will be about why ships don't sink. There are actually two things that you have to know is responsible for the ships not sinking. Okay, what are those things? Number one is the buoyancy that we were just talking about, which is the upthrust force. Ibrahim, please turn off your videos, dear. Video, thank you. Okay. Yes.
I couldn't hear. So can you tell me again what do you mean by buoyancy?
Buoyancy is the upthrust force. I'm sorry, who's asking the question?
Malik.
Okay, Malik. Buoyancy is the upthrust force. It's the force that the water exerts against gravity. So this means that if you have a boat floating, if you have a force, if you have a boat floating on the water, the water will push it back. This means that the gravity is pulling it towards the ground while the water is pushing it back. Do you understand, Malik?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have the buoyancy. This will affect the floating of the ship. The second thing is how light or heavy the thing is. It's called the density. Like, for example, water is much lighter, air is much lighter than water. That's why we put on floaters when we want to swim in a deep pool or a deep sea, because air is lighter than water. This will make us float. Okay? Do you understand, guys? If anyone has a problem, please raise your hand. Khadija, do you have a problem, dear?
No, miss. I'm okay.
Okay. So two things will affect the floating of anything: the upthrust force, which is how much the water will push it back against gravity, and the density, which is if the thing that is floating lighter or heavier than water. Okay, now let's look at your the project that the questions I want you to answer about this project. Okay, so there is a scientist called Archimedes. This scientist discovered something in a very, very funny way. He filled his bathtub with water. He wanted to go and get a bath, a normal bath. So he got inside the bathtub, and he realized that when he got inside the bathtub, some of the water that was inside the bathtub started to spill out of the bathtub. You know this, you've seen this before, right? When you fill a cup of water till the end of the cup, and then you add something to this cup, you will find some of the water spilling outside of the cup, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing is that in order for the thing that wants to get inside the glass of water, or when Archimedes got inside the bathtub, the amount of water that spilled outside of the bathtub is actually equal to the amount of Archimedes itself. Do you understand, guys?
Yes.
So if we imagine that Archimedes is a hollow person, there is nothing inside him, and I started to fill Archimedes with water, okay? It will be equal, the water that I'm going to add is equal to the amount of water that when he got inside the bathtub, spilled inside outside of the bathtub. Anyone has a problem so far? If you don't understand or you're still confused?
Yes, I have a problem.
Yeah, I have a problem.
Miss, I have a problem.
Yes. Okay. One by one, I want you to. What's the problem? Yes, Adham, you're at the first one. Come on.
I didn't understand number 2.
You didn't understand number 2, which is the density. Okay. Again, the density, dear, is how light or heavy the thing is according to the water, which means that if you have, for example, 1 liter of water and 1 liter of air, and you try to weigh this and weigh this, you will find that the air, the 1 liter of air is much lighter than the 1 liter of water. Do you understand, Adham?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this means that if we added both of them to each other, the air will float on water. It will not sink. But for example, let me finish. But for example, if you have 1 liter of water and one liter of iron, for example, or steel, you will find that the steel will be heavier than the water. That's why it's going to sink. Do you understand now?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else has a problem? Raise your hand. Yes, Monsif.
I was only like trying to tell you that you were lagging, so I didn't
Okay.
hear you well.
Which part? The part that when Adham asked the question?
No, our Archimedes.
Yes, okay. I'm going to repeat it again. I just want you to yes, please turn off your mics, and whoever is calling me, please raise your hand so I know who are you, okay? All of you, yes, mute your mics, please. Mute your mics. Yes, Khadija.
Let's take it to the bathroom.
Yes, go, dear, but make it quick. Whose iPhone, guys?
Me, miss.
No, there is another iPhone. Who's raising their hand and his name is iPhone? Okay. I'm going to
Whoever's
unmute.
sitting in his hand and his
Yes.
name is iPhone, please. Oh.
Okay. Who are you, dear? Hello.
Omar.
Yes, Omar.
Miss, I entered now. So what is the topic of the session?
We're talking about the project, dear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's repeat what I just said. Okay. The thing is, there is a scientist called Archimedes, as I told you guys. This guy, he is a scientist who discovered a new concept by a very funny way. As I told you, he filled his bathtub. He just wanted to take a bath. So he filled his bathtub with water. And when he got inside the bathtub, he found water spilling out of the bathtub. All of you have faced this before, right? Hey guys, all of you you have seen this before.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this made him discover something called the displacement, which means that, as I told you guys, if Archimedes is a hollow person, he is empty from the inside of his body, and I collected the water.
How is this a thing?
And I collected the water that got spilled out of the bathtub. He got inside the bathtub, and I filled Archimedes with this amount of water. It will equal the volume or the amount of Archimedes itself. Do you understand, guys?
Yes, I just have a question.
Yes.
How does he have nothing inside him? What is
No,
that?
I'm just telling you, imagine. I want you to imagine. Okay.
Oh,
Let's take another example. Okay. If I filled
Miss, I have a question.
okay,
I
just
have a
give
question.
me a second. Give me a second. If I filled a bottle with water, okay, until its end, you have a bottle and you filled it with water till the end of the bottle, okay, and I put it inside a bucket of water. It will sink or float? It's a filled bottle. It's not an empty bottle. Eh?
Float.
It will.
Float.
It's a full bottle, not an empty bottle.
no, it will sink because it
Yes.
has water inside.
Yes, it has water inside it. So this is why it's going to sink. Okay? Type. If I emptied this bottle, will it sink or float?
Float.
Will float. Okay. If I got this bottle, this empty bottle, and the bucket of water, and I forced it by my hand, I kept pushing the water inside the full bucket. Some water will get spilled outside of the bucket, right?
Yeah.
If I collected this water and I put it inside the bottle, it will fill the bottle. Do you understand, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I have a question also.
Yes, Ibrahim.
If the bathtub if I had a bathtub and a cup and a mug and I filled them both with water.
Yeah.
If I put my hand in the cup, it will spill water. But in the bathtub, if I put myself in the bathtub, will it?
If you put yourself or your hand?
No, if I put myself in
If
the
you put
bathtub, will it spill more amount of water than the cup?
Okay, let me ask you another question, Ibrahim, because thank you very much for this question. This will make it easier for me to reach my point, okay? Let me ask you a question. Now you have a mug full of water. And you have a bathtub full of water, okay?
Yeah.
You put your hand in the mug, which has smaller amount of water, right?
Yeah.
This will make the water spill out of the what? The mug.
The mug.
Yes, but if you put your hand in the bathtub, will the water be spilled?
Yeah.
Only your hand.
Oh no.
No.
Not.
Why? Can
I
anyone,
really can't
Because
understand.
can anyone ask? Yes, Monsef, can you answer this question?
yes.
I can't understand.
We have a mug full of water, and you have a bathtub
Okay.
full of water. Okay?
Okay.
You put your hand inside the mug. What will happen to the water?
The water inside the mug will go out of the mug.
Yes, but if you put your hand inside the bathtub, which has a very large amount of water, will any of the water get out?
No, it will just, I think.
The water will raise a little bit, but it will not be spilled out of the
Not
bathtub.
like get
Right? This is
Yes.
exactly why the ships don't sink. Because when the thing is much heavier than the water to be able to push it back with its upthrust force, okay, it will sink. And this will make your hand much heavier than the amount of water inside the mug. That's why it's making room for your hand to get inside the mug. But in case of the bathtub, your hand is much smaller than the amount of water, so the water will be able to push it back with its upthrust force. That's why the water will not be spilled out of the bathtub. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, Omar, yes. Omar. Omar, do you have a question, dear? Omar? No. Okay. Mohanna, do you have a question? Mohanna? Mohanna, you're raising your hand, honey. Do you have a question? Okay. Khadija, do you have a question?
Yes, miss.
Yes, dear.
So I want to say, like, if I was riding, like, for example, on a ship, how if I have if in a box, a heavy box,
Yes.
just fell out of the ship and it was sinking, and there's a lot of people, for example, or stuff in the ship.
Yeah.
How the box that fell out of the ship is sinking while the ship has a lot of boxes, it doesn't sink.
Okay, I will tell you right now, ya Khadija. Thank you for your question. But let me take Adham Tamer's question. Yes, Adham.
Miss, I can't understand this part.
You cannot understand this part. We're going to watch a video together, okay?
Okay.
Miss,
Yes.
I'm Monsef.
Yes, Monsef.
Please, we tried this with Miss Nala before. We didn't hear anything. It was like the voice was lagging.
Okay.
And we didn't even see. The screen was like cutting.
Okay.
So it's better to put it on Moodle or Google Classroom.
I'm going to put it on Moodle and Google Classroom along with what we're going to see together, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So Khadija's question was that you have a heavy box that fell off a boat, and this heavy box started to sink, while there is the boat that is much bigger and has lots of people on it, and it's floating. Okay, Khadija, the thing is that exactly what we are saying or what we're talking about, when the ship, it has something to do with the shape of the ship. When you make the surface of the ship, for example, you have, let me ask you a question. If you have a piece of Play-Doh, okay, and you make it a ball, you make it in the shape of the ball, and you put it inside a mug or a cup or a bucket of water, will it sink or float? Khadija, I want you to answer the question. You're lagging, dear.
Sorry, my laptop is lagging.
It's okay. Tell me again.
I think it will sink.
It will sink. Okay. If you got the same piece of Play-Doh and you make it in the shape of boat, okay, will it sink or float?
No.
It will float. It has something to do with the shape of the boat. Why? Because when you distribute the amount of Play-Doh in the shape of the boat, it's easier for the water to hold it or to push it back with its upthrust force. But when you make all of the amount of the thing that is making the boat in one piece, it will sink. Let me show you a video about this. It will make it easier for you guys to understand it, okay?
Okay.
I just want you to mute your mics, guys. I can hear everything. Would you please mute your mics? Thank you.
Hello again. The smart question today is, why can ships float? And the clever answer, I will tell you now. Many of you have a toy boat, and since it's light and small, you may think that's the reason why it can float. But there are also quite large boats that have many people on board.
Miss, it's lagging.
And float anyway. How this works, I will show you.
Can you hear, guys? Safe.
Yeah.
Can you hear it
I
and
can
see
hear
it?
it. I can hear it, but
Yeah,
the
Miss, I can
screen is
hear it, but
lagging.
it's lagging.
Yes, it's
I
lagging.
can't hear
I hear a piece.
It's
I do
lagging.
not hear a piece.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm going to repeat it again. So mute your mics, okay?
Okay.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello again. The smart question today is, why can ships float? And the clever answer, I will tell you now. Many of you have a toy boat, and since it's light and small, you may think that's the reason why it can float. But there are also quite large boats that have many people on board. They're quite heavy and float anyway. How this works, I will show you in an experiment, and it needs the following things: a bowl of water and a piece of modeling clay. First of all, form your modeling clay into a ball and put it gently in the water bowl, and it sinks to the bottom. Now you take out the modeling clay and form your ball into a plate. When you let go of it, it's also going to sink to the bottom of your bowl. But if you form it into a small boat, it floats. It's not about the weight, but obviously it's about the shape of an object, whether it is floating or not. The item must displace more water to the sides as it weighs. This is called displacement. If your ship is constructed like that, it can push away more water than its own weight, and therefore it can float and doesn't sink. Thanks for watching. Captain Nina is now going to build her own ship. I hope you enjoyed this clever answer. See you next time. Bye.
This time I heard 12.
Okay. Did you understand what she just said?
Yes.
Yes.
It has something to do with the shape of the boat. If the shape of the boat will push away more water than its own weight, it will float. But if when she made a ball out of it, it's actually displacing. Do you know now the concept of displacement? It's the amount of water that it gets spilled out of the bathtub when we get inside the bathtub, or it's the amount of water that you push aside when you get inside a large swimming pool. When you get inside a place where it's full of water, you have to push aside. You're making room for yourself. Do you understand, guys? You have to push some of the water aside in order for your body to be able to get inside the pool. Okay? If this amount of water that you're pushing aside is larger than your own weight, you will be floating. But if it's more than your own weight, if it's less than your own weight, you're going to sink. Like when she did now with the claying model, the modeling clay. What she did is she made a ball at the beginning, and when she put the ball inside, please, whoever is turning on their mics, mute your mic, please. Mute your mic, guys.
Alex and Yusuf, Jaida, mute your mic.
Mute your mic.
Miss, the session is going to end.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to extend it a little bit more. I'm going to give you another password. I want you to stay on Google Classroom in order to take it, okay? Okay, guys?
Okay.
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 Okay. So now I want you to mute your mics, please. Mute your mics. So it has something to do with the shape of the boat. This shape, the shape that the boat is made of, is actually very good because it pushes away more water than its own weight. This way it's going to float. But if the ship by the way, if the ship is full with a lot of things that will make it heavier than water, it's going to what? Huh? If I fill this boat with a lot of things, more than the water can push it with its upthrust force, will it sink or float? Yes, Omar, can you answer the question? Omar. Okay, Adham, can you answer the question?
It
Adham,
will sink. Yes, it will sink.
yes, it will sink, because when I fill it with a lot of things, it will be heavier than the water, and this will make it sink.
I didn't open the mic.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So when it's at the beginning, when the ship has this shape, the shape of the ship, this will make it easier for it to float. This is number one. Number two, when it's not that full, or the things that on the ship will make the ship still lighter than the water, it will float. But if we add more things, it will make it sink. The third thing, that most of the boats, the bottom of most of the boats is filled with air. And we said that air, is it lighter or heavier than water? Hey guys.
Lighter.
Yes, air is lighter. So when you fill the bottom of any ship with air, it will make it lighter than water, and this will make it float. Okay? Okay, guys? Huh?
Okay.
Adham Tamer.
Okay.
Adham Tamer.
Yes.
Are you still confused?
Miss, how much time will you spend in the other Zoom call?
We're going to take only 10 minutes from the other Zoom call.
Okay.
Adham Tamer, are you still confused?
No.
Okay. Now let's see the questions I want you to answer, guys. The first question I want you to answer first, it's a PowerPoint presentation. This is the first thing, okay? I want you to answer those questions in a neat way in this PowerPoint presentation. The first thing, I want you to tell me more about Archimedes and how he discovered the concept of displacement. You can search it on Google. It's very easy. You will find a lot of answers about him. And I want the simplest answer, okay? I don't want you to get in a complicated, I don't want you to get confused. Just who is Archimedes and how he discovered the displacement concept, okay? Number two, how do the displacement, the upthrust force, and the shape of the ship make it float? The things that we just talked about. I will be uploading like 3 videos that will show you the answer of this question, okay? The third thing I want you to do, guys, is to make the experiment that I just presented for you guys with a modeling clay, or you can use a piece of paper foil. Do you know the foil paper that your mother used in the kitchen? Huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want you guys to make an experiment. Bring a bucket of water or a small mug or whatever that will hold this thing. I want you to bring the modeling clay or the paper foil and fold it like a ball. Put it inside the water. You will find
It have to be clay, or can I use like foil?
Whatever. If you made a ball out of it, okay, or if you filled the ball with like a piece of rock or something, will it sink or float? If you make it a ball,
Miss, you said what?
it will sink. Yes. So if you have a ball, it will sink. But if you make the same paper foil or the same modeling clay in the shape of boat, will it sink or float? It will float, because this way I distributed the weight of the boat above the water. So the water, the upthrust force of the water will be much easier to hold the boat. but it will not be able to hold the ball. Why? Because it's much heavier than the wall. Do you understand, guys?
Yeah.
Anyone still confused?
Yeah. No.
Who said yes?
Miss, I didn't hear يعني very good. What did you said now?
I want you
Get
Adham,
a
to
clay or a foil and make with it what?
yes.
I didn't hear.
Have you seen, please guys, mute your mics. Yusuf, please mute your mic. Yes, okay, yeah, this is much better. Okay, Adham Tamer, have you seen the video that I just showed you?
Yeah.
Okay, did you see what she did with the modeling clay?
Yeah.
First, she made a ball. What happened to the ball?
It sink.
Yes, but when she made it in the shape of the boat, what happened?
Sink also.
In the shape of boat.
Oh, it float.
Yes, this is what I want you to do. This is the experiment that number 3. Do you see it? Number 3, make an experiment to prove your findings. This is the experiment I want you to do. I want you to make out of the modeling clay or a foil, a paper foil. First, make a ball out of it, and if you can fill it with rocks, it will be much better. And put it inside the
Rocks.
Yes, a rock. If you put inside the paper foil a rock or anything that will make it heavy, you will put it inside the paper foil and fold it like a ball. Put it inside the water. What will happen to the ball?
It
Will it sink or float?
sink.
Yes, but if you made it in the shape of boat, will it sink or float?
Float.
Yes, this is because I distributed the shape of the ball in a boat-like shape. This way, the water will be able to hold it. Because this way, the upthrust force or the force of the water resisting the weight of the boat will be very little, or will be very high. So it will make the boat float. But when you make it a ball, the water will not be able to hold it with its upthrust force. So it will sink. Do you understand?
Yep.
Very good. Yes, you understand, ya Monsef?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Type. I'm just going to, I don't know how much time do we have, but the moment...
Less than a minute left.
Less than 1 minute. Okay, I'm going to make another a video call right now. I want you to get inside your Google Classroom and join, okay?
Okay.
Okay, guys, I'm going to stop sharing this now, okay?
Okay.